the consultants also felt comfortable that now you have somebody there as a permanent face within the group who is going to make the group understand things. And then, I used to have a habit of talking to my seniors a lot. I was a chatterbox. At least up till 2017. I was a chatterbox. People would actually say, बंद कर दे बोलना, चुप रहा कर. So I learned it at a very later stage of my life that one needs to keep their mouth shut and talk carefully. I was too blunt and honest in my life during those years.
Days at BIC?
No.
Before that?
Younger age.
Okay.
Not days at BIC. BIC taught me a lot. So I've always thanked the BIC management that they saved my father's money and they made us civil engineers and mechanical engineers for free of cost. Because we used to learn everything hands-on when we were doing the construction of the track. We drove bloody cranes. We drove hydras. We drove JCBs. We drove forklifts. That is during F1. Before the track was ready, but to move stuff, I have driven trucks there. Inside the facility, not outside, because everything is in a controlled environment at BIC. Within the boundaries of BIC, we've driven every heavy machinery possible, even a road roller also. And we learned how to do construction, like how do you check PCC, RCC, concretes, how to make curbs, learn drawings, how to read CAD drawings, how to sit with the engineer and understand a CAD drawing properly. What is a CAD drawing? Because that is all civil engineer job, man, structural engineers and all. And wiring connections and ducting and ACs and asphalt, at what temperature it should lay, what are the grades of asphalts you have to make to create the track. When I joined BIC, there was a structure of team building 1, which is the current team building 1, just an empty structure, barren ground, half structure of the pit building, like 30% of the structure of the pit building, and just the base structure of the main grandstand.
Okay.
And jahan medical center hai, it used to be a half wet pond. There was nothing. Like we would wear gumboots and go.
Okay.
On my induction day at BIC, turn 10-11 parabola, turn 16 है BIC का, उसके सामने एक छोटी सी हट बनी हुई है ऐसे सिल्वर कलर की. If you're standing outside the race control, you see at your 10 o'clock, you will see a hut. That used to be our every morning coordination meeting room. Every department will report there. Sameer sir would come there, and we would give our previous day's work progress and how we are doing. There were Gantt charts, there were timeline sheets. We had to meet deadlines, we had to do everything. So we were the fastest built circuit in the world. So if you notice, there's always one person behind the grid who raises the green flag and who moves across the grid, giving a green signal to the starter that everything is good. First F1, that was me. I took my earmuffs off and I wanted to hear those 24 V8s roaring. And I had tears in my eyes because that was happening in my country. I get a call from a friend of mine in Pune. Buddy, you know Noida is going to have a Formula 1 circuit, right? I'm like, yeah, sir, do you have a contact? I would love to go and work for them. He says, okay, send me your CV. Whatever you've made about you, okay? Whatever you have on you, like about you and stuff like that. All the details, your profiles, everything. I had made something, whatever I could as an amateur in the working industry. I was still an amateur, so whatever I could get, I had put that on a Word document and I sent it across to him. 15 days later, I get a call from JP Group. I was called for an interview.
Okay.
This was April end 2010 or May. I think 12th of May 2010. No, April end. I get a call. You've been called for a first round of interview and you have to come to JP Green's Golf Resort. These buildings, you come there and call us. Okay, sir. That was the day I dressed up the most, like I was looking most like, I don't know, I have never dressed up so formal in my life. I was so nervous. Palms were sweaty. And I was waiting. I entered that building in JP. Sat there on the couch for about 5-8 minutes, 10 minutes I think. And this one British gentleman comes out, Mr. Mark Hughes. And Mr. Sameer Kumar. So Sameer sir used to handle the media. And Mark Hughes was the operations head. I think vice president operations at that time he was. तो इनके साथ मेरा इंटरव्यू स्टार्ट होता है. I sit down, we talk. Sorry, one more person was there. Deepak Abe sir. Mr. Deepak Abe. So he was taking care of marketing, promotions and all everything. So all these three guys sit in front of me and then we start the interview. The interview continued for about 1 hour 20 minutes. My first round of interview. Because they had met somebody for the first time in North India from motorsports background. Of having operational knowledge. Because I had worked for A1 Team India.
Yeah.
So I had that basic operational knowledge was there. Basic things were picked up from there. And I had very good mentors at A1 also. Like they used to help me out quite a lot because I was very young and I was so rusted. So all that gyan helped eventually. Then finally, 19th of July, 2010, I get my final round of interview with Mr. Sameer Gaur, who at that time was the MD and CEO of the now Buddh International Circuit.
Okay.
So okay, so I had an interview. So I asked me about basic things, explain the working culture for JP Group, then how we are, what kind of traditional company we are, and we follow our, follow our ethics very strongly, especially as a work culture in the group. I understood, sir. I also come from a background of ethical companies only because my dad is in JK Tires and dad has spent enough years in the company now. And I understand all those things that happened. So he said, okay, now the HR department will give you your final date of joining and all everything. Join from today only, no problem. Sign your joining letter and all. I was on top of the world. That this is what I wanted. My country, my sport, my Formula 1. I'll be the operations manager of this. I'm telling you, the work started. So initially I was just getting through things and then all the big guns also came on board. Then the joinings happened. I still remember October 2010, JP Group had printed an ad, published an ad in all leading newspapers, a full page ad for hiring at the Buddh International Circuit for Indian F1. And when that ad went out, my phone did not stop ringing after that. All of my friend circle, everybody wanted to work for the track now. I was fortunate enough that I got a chance to get in there first. From the motorsports fraternity.
Yeah.
Because that time they did not have anybody from the motorsports fraternity as a permanent employee. Consultants, they were consultants. Big names were consultants. And then the consultants also felt comfortable that now you have somebody there as a permanent face within the group who is going to make the group understand things. And then, I used to have a habit of talking to my seniors a lot. I was a very I was a chatterbox. At least up till 2017. I was a chatterbox. People will actually say, बंद कर दे बोलना, चुप रहा कर. So I learned it at a very later stage of my life that, yeah, one needs to keep their mouth shut and talk carefully. I was too blunt and honest in my life during those years.
Days at BIC.
No.
Before that.
Younger age.
Okay.
Not days at BIC. BIC taught me a lot. So I've always thanked the BIC management that they saved my father's money and they made us civil engineers and mechanical engineers for free of cost. Because we used to learn everything hands-on when we were doing the construction of the track. We drove bloody cranes. We drove hydras. We drove JCBs. We drove forklifts. That is during F1. Before the track was ready, but to move stuff, I have driven trucks there. Inside the facility, not outside, because everything is in a controlled environment at BIC. Within the boundaries of BIC, we've driven every heavy machinery possible, even a road roller also. And we learned how to do construction, like how do you check PCC, RCC, concretes, how to make curbs, learn drawings, how to read CAD drawings, how to sit with the engineer and, understand a CAD drawing properly. What is a CAD drawing? Because that is all civil engineer job, man, structural engineers and all. And, wiring connections and ducting and ACs and asphalt, at what temperature it should lay, what are the grades of asphalts you have to make to create the track. When I joined BIC, there was a structure of team building 1, which is the current team building 1, just an empty structure, barren ground, half structure of the pit building, like 30% of the structure of the pit building, and just the base structure of the main grandstand.
Okay.
And jahan medical center hai, it used to be a half wet pond. There was nothing. Like we would wear gumboots and go.
Okay.
On my induction day at BIC, turned 10-11 parabola. So the manhole cover today, drainage cover today at BIC, which is flushed with the asphalt, was of my height. I was standing next to it. That is the time when I went to BIC. So अभी base layering चल रही थी अभी तो सिर्फ track की. We got access then. हम लोग कीचड़ में जाया करते थे गम बूट्स पहन के. कभी कभार जब बारिश ज़्यादा पड़ जाए तो फिर गम बूट्स पहन के जाना पड़ता था. So induction was fun. Then closer, so we were asked to sit first in the sports complex. JP Golf Course का जो sports complex है, वहाँ पे हम लोग बैठा करते थे पहले. I think March, February or March. Yeah. February or March 2011. We were asked to move to the site.
Okay.
The track. So we would sit in the पीछे वाला छोटा सा complex.
Okay.
There was a site there. So now when you enter BIC, you hit the roundabout, you turn left. So our office used to be on the right.
Okay.
Roundabout से right लो आप जाके वहाँ पे complex बना हुआ है छोटा सा. We used to sit there.
Okay.
All of us used to sit there, and all our meetings used to happen at the last corner. Turn 16 है BIC का. उसके सामने एक छोटी सी हट बनी हुई है ऐसे सिल्वर कलर की. If you're standing outside the race control, you see at your 10 o'clock, you will see a hut. That used to be our every morning coordination meeting room. Every department will report there. Sameer sir would come there, and we would give our previous day's work progress and how we are doing. There were Gantt charts. There were timeline sheets. We had to meet deadlines. We had to do everything. So we were the fastest built circuit in the world.
Really?
We were built in 16 months.
Oh wow.
I think 15 and a half months, I think. We had 24,000 people working there. In 3 shifts, 8,000 people in 8 hours. 8 hour, 3 shifts, 8,000 people every 8 hours will work. Like, we've had instances, I remember in May. The final layer of asphalt was pending. Second layer was done. Team building was getting ready. There was a very unfortunate incident in the main grandstand. One of the labours had caught an active bus bar. So we couldn't save him, but the medical services were there because there used to be medical services present at the site 24/7 with about 6 or 7 ambulances or something like that while the construction was going on. So it was there. They tried to save him, couldn't. So उसके बाद से ना we were asked to do surprise inspections.
Okay.
After 2:30 in the night.
Oh.
I did 3 surprise inspections. And it was fun.
Yeah.
We would land up at BIC at 3 o'clock in the night. And you would see crane lights everywhere, moving, cement trucks, concrete trucks, thuk, thuk, noises are coming, grinders are blowing, blow torches are there, सरिया लग रहा है, RCC हो रहा है, concrete बह रहा है. Like it was a dream coming true for Indians like us for motorsports. Like the work would not stop at BIC. I remember, I think September was the inspection. When Neil Yani came to drive in the Red Bull car on the rough BIC. Unclean but final asphalt done. Because his drive onboard video and his data was sent to the FIA for the final inspection, which happened on the Tuesday before the race weekend, the first race weekend that we had in 2011. And before that, I think Charlie Whiting sir also came. So we used to have a lot of visits from Formula One, from FIA. They would come, click pictures, check how the progress is going on. The circuit is getting built on time, and we'll be ready in time or no. Then, and there was so much of work at the back end. We would. So I was then, made to supervise, and I was made in charge to buy the equipment for the marshals coming on the track and create the equipment. Your flags, your radios, marshal overalls, whistles, marshal merchandises, intervention equipment, fire extinguishers, brooms, rakes, seatbelt cutters, helmets, safety helmets for the marshals, for the intervention posts. Because intervention post is the post marshals which go out on the track. There are post marshals who are the flag marshals. They stay in the post. They do not move out of the post. Intervention post marshals with fire marshal move out of the post. Out of the post, onto the track, and they address the first incident. Incident first. Then comes coordinating their training. Because that time, I think Indian Motorsports Marshals Club, IMMC, was the in charge for the marshal training and everything. I was the main point of contact. I was the nodal officer for the Marshals Club to coordinate with the circuit. So I would take their requirements. I would prepare the requirement in my company format. I would fill in the indent. I would file for procurement, get the budget approval from bosses, management, order the procurement. I remember the first procurement that we had, 5,000 t-shirts, 1,200 backpacks, 1,200 luggage bags, some 5,000 keychains, something like that. I think we still have some keychains lying at PIC. We ordered so many every year because there were so many people. So basically, I was coordinating between the circuit and the Marshals Club and the other race officials. So basically, eventually, by the race weekend came, I was made the Man Friday.
Okay.
For F1 BIC, Marshall's Club, FMSCI, everybody. I was the man Friday for everybody, including the Formula One management side also. I was their man Friday. They would call at berserk hours. Oh, this is not happening. Okay, I'll have it done. It was like that. From those, those days, there was so much of learning at BIC. And then we started improving. At least I improved. I evolved. I evolved as a human, working at BIC. Because we were the part of that core team, so it saw it coming up and everything happening and stuff like that. Maintaining all the cars, fire vehicles, medical vehicles, safety car, medical car, everything, But the best part at BIC was, there were only two people who had the access to the key of that SLS AMG at BIC. One was me, and other one was my reporting boss. That's it. So we could drive that car any day we want. So what are we doing? Circuit inspection. But it was fun. So mostly it was circuit inspection because we had to send out regular reports in a fast car. You have to do it like that only. It is a part of the thing. I was just kidding about the circuit inspection thing. We never did the undue advantage was never taken of equipment.
Of course.
Ever. At BIC because it was like our home. I don't know about others, it's my house still. I still go whenever I get a chance and whenever I can get an access. I still go lie down on my asphalt and I sleep. I feel relaxed. I actually lie down on the track or in the pit lane. You will always see me sitting, if I'm there at BIC and if we catch up, you'll always see me sitting on the asphalt. That's my house. I built it. On the pit wall, you've seen that fence on the pit wall?
I guess, हाँ.
जो pit wall है हमारी grey वाली, उसके ऊपर एक ऐसे करके इसे एक जाली लगी हुई है. From left to right, you've got 918 bolts. 918 बोल्ट है वहाँ पे. क्यों? क्योंकि मैंने टाइट किए थे सारे बोल्ट. टॉक रेंच लेके मैंने टाइट किए थे सारे बोल्ट जब कंस्ट्रक्शन हो रही थी.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the kind of thing I have with BIC. BIC has always been. So basically, BIC changed my life. BIC changed me for good, and it changed my life for good. And everybody at BIC, whenever we used to work together, whoever was working at that time, and now also, everybody is very good there. People are nice. I still remember when Parthe joined, I was leaving. Yeah, that was my last month when Parthe joined.
Okay. So you were at the same position at what Parthesh is currently at?
No. I was the operations manager.
Okay.
I was the operations manager.
Okay.
So I was one position below where Rajiv sir is.
Achha.
Actually, no. Two positions below.
Okay.
2 positions below Rajiv sir. Because that time, we had a lot of hierarchy. Now it is more crystal clear that this person is doing. Because at that time, we had so many things happening.
Correct.
There were a lot of people working together. So we had a proper hierarchy chart. Now is also there is a hierarchy chart, proper chart is there. But now the positions are very cleared out.
Because बन गया ना track.
हाँ, अब सब कुछ ready है. नहीं, track तो उस time पे भी बन गया था. But उस time पे we had a lot of people. The teams were quite big.
Okay.
Right now, there's actually what I personally feel that a couple more people can be hired at the working level, mid-management level types. They should be hired because you cannot stress one person like Rajiv sir sitting on top. You can't stress him too much. You need somebody, just one below him, to take the stress away. Same way Nishant sir is there. Okay. He's also there alone. Somebody needs to come from the circuit side to report into him. He can't be looking into the nitty-gritties, no? That time the management was quite big. The team was quite big at that time. Management was still filtered like this. The team was quite big. So there would be one person below the senior guy who would take care of 5 people. Those 5 people would report into this one guy, and this one guy would go report to the senior guy.
Yeah.
So people like this, the team needs to be extended right now. This is what I personally feel. I don't know. See, management is beautiful there, still. With whatever they have. It still runs clockwork, It is proper clockwise work. There are no hiccups, nothing. Obviously, small hiccups are always everywhere, yeah.
Hey.
Every circuit around the world, I'm saying. I'm not saying India.
Yes.
Okay, I go to Sepang, I go to Monza, I go to Nürburgring, I have been to Spa. I've seen hiccups everywhere. कहाँ नहीं होते hiccups? साला सामने नहीं आने देता. हमारे यहाँ आते हम पहले दिखाते हैं. हम रिसर्च नहीं की. वहाँ कोई नहीं दिखाते जो इतने hiccups होते हैं वहाँ पे. अभी 2 हफ्ते पहले we had gone for testing somewhere. Not all the Asians are. Water is not organized. Airline is not working. It's a circuit hiccup, right? Then किसी को पता चला हुआ. क्योंकि मैं अभी बता रहा हूँ तो हुआ, पता चल गया. अब ये सेम चीजें हर जगह होती हैं यार. It is everywhere. It is an operational thing.
But tell me one thing. I mean, coming to the day when F1 happened, finally, I'm sure you, as well as all of the other team members at BIC, would have been completely shaken up. Ki yaar, when you've worked hands-on and seen that track come up, and something like F1 happening there, वो होता है ना, you start questioning yourself only कि साला कुछ तो गड़बड़ नहीं हो गई होगी.
You remember the green flag monkey who gave the green flag behind the F1 cars?
नहीं.
During the first F1?
नहीं.
So if you notice, there's always one person behind the grid who raises the green flag and who moves across the grid, giving a green signal to the starter that everything is good. First F1, that was me. I took my earmuffs off and I wanted to hear those 24 V8s roaring, and I had tears in my eyes because that was happening in my country.
Nice.
Indian national anthem went on. We had, right now I've got goosebumps when I talk about it. We had goosebumps. When those V8 engines roar, I jumped onto the opportunity saying that nobody else will do it, only I will do it. It is my circuit. It is my haq. I will do that green flag. And I did it. FIA was kind enough to allow me to do it. And I pleaded all my management, please push them, let me do it. Because I want to do it. That opportunity doesn't knock twice on your door. That feeling for the first time.
F1
for the first
in your country.
Exactly. वो दोबारा नहीं आएगी opportunity
अब दूसरा ही F1 होगा अगर होगा.
नहीं, 3 तो हो चुके ना.
नहीं मतलब कहने का मतलब है at that point the first F1 is the first F1.
नहीं, अब इंडिया में कहीं पे भी हो तो वो तो हाँ चल F1 रेस है. It's not like the first F1, the first time in the world and stuff like that. And then after the first F1, it was, I'll tell you an incident. I think we had a party after the race on Sunday night. I hadn't slept in 72 hours. I went back home. At that time, I was living in Greater Noida only. Because every time, 3 months before the race, I used to move from my house to a rented accommodation in Greater Noida. So I'm close to the track. I'm like within reach of the track in 15 minutes and all everything. And the management used to provide us the accommodation at that time. Only for those 3 months, everybody would get accommodation close to the track. Management would, like the HR would issue a rental thing and all, some kuch. Company would talk to the lender, like landlords, and then we would get rented accommodation. I went back home, took a shower. I slept. I woke up the next day morning at 9 o'clock. I had over 158 missed calls on my phone. I was half the management of the track who was calling me to the party. Because they wanted me there at the party. So dead, I did not reach the first party. I did not reach that party. Second year also the same thing happened. Third year I went for the party. Because third year everything was much more organized. You know, we were ready. We did not have to buy so many things and prepare so many things. We were all done because thanks to my reporting boss and our management, like they used to ask us to create SOPs and stuff like that. So we had our SOPs in place. So we would have a standard operating procedure like 4 months, 6 months before the date. If the date is announced, 6 months before, we'll start putting our internal procurement processes and everything. 3 months before, we'll start putting together all the equipment, start placing it in order, and start creating areas and designate. And make our lists, everything, and send it out to the respective departments of marshals and officials and this and that and blah, 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 everyone. Including marketing teams and all everything. Oh, sorry, medical teams and all. सब कुछ करते थे हम लोग. वो सब हुआ. Third year was very relaxed for us. And that's it. After that, no more F1. Because our government was still thinking that we are a entertainment, not a sport. But globally, we are a sport. I still remember when I had joined PIC, I had my HR asked me for management structures of different racetracks. Then I helped them to get access to those documents. But the only problem was I had explained it to them. I'm like, sir, those circuits are operated by governments. They're not privately owned facilities. They're owned by the government. So Sports Ministry, Finance Ministry create a board. That board selects one CEO which runs the track. And everybody working there is a government employee. 90% of circuits around the world are like that only. Who are private? BIC, Silverstone, Buriram. Buriram is not a Formula 1 circuit. Silverstone's private. BIC was private. I think one more circuit is private. That's it.
Okay.
But it's not all government operated circuits. They're all owned by the sarkars of that city or the state or the province or the country. So they have full access to everything. There's no red tapeism. F1 went out from here only because of a reason, because there was too much of red tapeism everywhere. And our revenues were dying as a promoter of a Formula 1 race. Because we had to pay taxes to the government. Entertainment tax देते थे हम लोग टिकट पे, पता है 25% टिकट रेवेन्यू पे 25% एंटरटेनमेंट टैक्स देते थे हम लोग F1 की उस पे. It's all public. It's all public information. हम लोग रिपोर्ट्स बना के सबमिट करते थे गवर्नमेंट को. Our team was there of very senior officials. They used to make reports and submit to the government. उनका काम ही था सिर्फ ट्रैक पे कि गवर्नमेंट को समझाना है, भाई मतलब ये देखो आपको कितना फायदा हो रहा है, डायरेक्ट इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेस से कितना आपको फायदा होता है अगर F1 आती है. किसी कान पे जू नहीं रेंगती थी भाई इस टाइम. और जब जू रेंगी तब तक फॉर्मूला 1 आने से मना कर दिया कि अब तो कैलेंडर बहुत बढ़ गया हमारा. I don't know if you were aware or no. BIC was the only circuit in the history of Formula 1, I think up till 2013, who got awarded the best circuit twice.
In the world.
Wow. We got 2 trophies. And those trophies are heavy. It's heavy.